Welcome back, Takara, and everybody watching us here for the all-past viewers who have purchased this portion of the summit. We are here in the Dream Big, how to create a better life for yourself and the planet. And Takara will be in her second portion of her talk. I hope you have listened to the first part, which is above, to be seen in the video above us. And she's already shared where she came from, the pretty shocking experience she had as a 33-year-old woman in remembrance of a pretty dramatic life event that turned her life around, and why she became an intuitive, a psychic, and now a coach for very successful authors. And I would like to ask you questions. We've already heard one technique of what we can do. I'd like to ask you now, first of all, when you teach your coaches, and maybe you could just repeat some of that, what you just say in that introductory video of yours. Do you teach goal setting? Do you teach schedule this, do this, or what's your approach?
Well, my whole approach is about working on yourself first, okay? So a lot of people do things where they teach a system, or they teach you how to do better search engine optimization on your website, or they teach you how to do more social media, or they teach, very external things. And what I've discovered for my own self, and what I've taught lots and lots of other people, is that when you work on you, when you come into that place of what I call the Four Noble C's, that's a place of being calm, being clear, being confident, and being divinely connected. When you can come into that place of these noble C's, then everything just flows better. You have more clarity, you know who you are, you have confidence, and from that place, all the other stuff just works, and there aren't really a lot of blocks when that's happening.
It's almost like the analogy of a lamp, right? We have a lamp in the living room, but unless we connect it to the source, there is no light. Let's face it, the lamp is really nice, functional. Just at night, it really works when you plug it in.
Right.
And that is truly what gives us the power to manifest things.
Right.
I mean, when people want to manifest things, isn't that what really matters, is the connection to the higher self and the source. So how do you teach people how to do that? What do you do? Tell me a couple steps how to get there.
Well, I mean, part of it is that it's unique for each person. But there are certain steps that I really recommend. And one of them we mentioned as what I learned to do initially when I first woke up spiritually and the dolphins showed up in my life. And that is meditation. Okay. When you can go into a deep, quiet place within, you're actually going into an expanded state of mind, and you're improving that connection, but you're also getting yourself better. So meditation does so many things on so many levels. It's a very important piece for me and all the people that I work with.
So you offer guided meditations, or do you use guided meditations for yourself, or?
Yeah. One of the best-selling books that I wrote was about meditation.
Okay.
And so I in that book, I talk about a lot of different techniques. So there's walking meditations, like walking a labyrinth, for example, or doing Tai Chi is a moving meditation. But I really like guided meditations, and yes, I do record them. I do live calls where people listen in, and I guide them through something that I'm inspired with in the moment. It's always unique in the moment, but I do a lot of guided meditations.
And do you find that there are stages of evolution within the capacity to meditate and rise to even more profound celestial and even beyond states?
Oh, yeah. I definitely do. Not that many of my clients are working at that realm, I work with a lot of people who are just starting, or some people that are in the middle. I mean, I definitely do work with people who are very advanced. Okay, I do work with people that are very advanced. But what I notice is there are everybody evolves differently. We all have different strengths and different skills, different life experiences that I need to work on this stuff first. I needed to heal a bunch of emotional junk.
Right.
Other people maybe are really toxic in their physical body. Maybe they've not eaten very cleanly, and they've got, when you are not eating clean, and when you are polluting your body again and again and again with things in the atmosphere, things you rub on your body, things you take inside,
first.
you're not clear.
Right. One has to start at the base. Yeah.
Right. And you not only are not clear of mind and not able to make good decisions, but you're also not clear in what you receive intuitively.
Definitely.
You know? Like it totally,
yeah.
It's like mud, you know, it's like, instead of, we have to not just clean our body off and brush our teeth, but we have to clean energetically, and we have to clean our body and eat pure foods. And if we've not eaten pure foods, we have to take steps.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is such an important aspect. And I think all of us, and even myself, who I've been a vegetarian since I was 19, so that's been almost not quite 40 years, but you know, I still have to go like, okay, we calculate, no, not too much sugar, because when I do that, I don't get as far and as high in my guidance. You know, I still function, but I have to work a lot harder at life.
Right.
When I purify my channels, I just barely have to have a thought and things happen.
Yes.
And you were mentioning you're doing a master class. You're leading a mastermind class.
Right.
And people are achieving amazing results and miracles because they've learning or they're practicing focusing their mind.
Right.
But the mind also then comes after having cleansed your emotions, like you said. So do you have a 9 things? I mean, you said 9 things standing in somebody's way could be.
Okay, the 9 things that I believe stand in people's way all have to do with your mind.
Oh, okay.
And how you think. Okay, so the 9 things, and I actually have a cheat sheet here so I don't forget. Okay, it's fear, limiting beliefs, judgments, expectations.
Okay, can we go a little slower? Okay, let's
sorry.
Okay, I mean, I'm digesting here. I'm listening. Okay, fear. Yes, that contracts us. Okay, next.
Limiting beliefs.
I can't do that, therefore it doesn't even happen. Okay.
Judgments.
Yeah, because that's where we go, I am like this, they are like that. And usually, you know, people have to live what we judge. I mean, I can't afford judgments anymore. I've given up. It's like people want to make somebody else bad. I say, well, sorry, I can't afford the luxury of a negative thought.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So judgment number 3, number 4?
It is expectations.
Okay, so tell me a bit about that.
Expectations of yourself. Okay. I should have.
Okay.
This is what is, you know, and they should have. They should be doing this and they're not. Okay. So that is expectations of self and others that are unrealistic, where you're beating yourself up, really.
It's a fine line, right? Because even judgment, discernment and judgment are 2 different things. Knowing what is right and what isn't right doesn't instantly mean we're judging. It's when we get this feeling and
when there's an emotion behind it, and we're making it wrong or we're making others wrong. Exactly.
And then we don't have a choice. When we just observe, discern, and say, well, you know, that person is da 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 da. I choose to be da 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 da. Then we're in the power of choice,
and we're not emotional about it
and reactive.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The next one is attachments to outcomes.
Okay.
Like we say we want a certain thing, but we have expectations that it show up in a certain way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, and if we were planning to go to a certain place and we had to be at a meeting or whatever, and the car breaks down, people get very, very bent out of shape when computers don't work and when they have car issues, right?
Right.
They tend to get very, very upset. That's because they have expectations of what this moment looks like. So you have to let go of that.
And also, when we let go of that, I like the sentence that I learned in one of those mastermind classes. It's like, I'm divinely guided, guarded, and protected. Right. I am always at the right time in the right place.
Right.
Make that a mantra. It's like, then we have the guidance from above guiding us to be at the right place. And if the internet isn't working, maybe you were actually supposed to be doing something different.
Right. Right.
So cool. That's awesome. Okay.
Right. The next one is guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's shame.
Okay. So guilt is the feeling of, I shouldn't have done that. I did something bad.
Right. Or I should do this. I'm being a bad person because I said no. I'm being a bad person because they want me to do this and I feel guilty that I'm not.
Okay.
Or I do it because I'm feeling guilty, not because I feel inspired to do it or I feel like I want to do it, but because I feel like I have to. It's expected. You know?
So that's a big downer for the energy to flow, for divine guidance to flow. Because when we go into, I have to and I should be a nice girl, We
Right.
may say yes when we should have said no.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm guilty of that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and these are the 9 deadly sins, I call
No,
them.
no, but it's so good to hear. I don't mind admitting to it and going, oh, yes, please, Ilona, remember, always
Yes.
be true to what feels right
Right.
and be kind about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Kindness,
cool.
very, very important. The next one is shame.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I talked about the rape experience,
Yes.
one of the first things that people feel is ashamed. They're ashamed that, they feel like they're dirty. They feel like they're tainted. They feel like they'll never be pure and clean again. And there's a lot of shame with a lot of things,
Right.
People are ashamed of where they grew up. They're ashamed of their feminine versus masculine in a masculine body. There's
Right.
shame all over the place. So shame is another one.
Okay.
The next one is blame, blaming others,
Yes.
which falls with the next one, which is victimhood.
Okay. So blaming and shaming and feeling victimized, it's always other people's fault
Yes.
that I'm in this bad condition. It
Right.
basically says I'm unempowered.
It totally is disempowering.
Yeah.
And it makes other people wrong.
Yeah.
And it means you don't ever have to take responsibility, but it also means that you'll never grow and evolve. Like if you don't take responsibility, you'll never actually grow and evolve. And
so I would like to rephrase that and say, when we take responsibility, it opens the door for us to become empowered and be able to choose and evolve.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just super sensitive for the hypnosis power of words.
Yes.
When you say you, I'm like listening and going, no, that's not me. Okay.
Right.
When we, however, turn that around, thank you, then we can get empowered. So what are some of the steps that now we can do? If we find ourselves identifying any of those parts, what should we do with that? What would you recommend?
Well, some of the things that I recommend to get, well, first of all, is to notice. Okay. And one of the best ways to notice is to get in tune with your own body. Okay. Most people think about everything, but they don't feel.
Yes.
And so there's this huge life-changing thing happens when you begin to feel. Right. So in practically every moment, you use your own body and your own feelings as a barometer, a sort of gauge on whether something's empowering or disempowering. If you're thinking negative thoughts about others, it's very disempowering and you kind of clench yourself and you don't feel good,
Right. So feeling, the body scanning.
Yes.
Just with breath, where's my breath? Where are my energy? Am I feeling like I'm expanding or am I feeling as if I'm contracting?
Exactly.
Yeah, the two forces.
When you're open to opportunity, when you're not feeling bad, when you're not afraid, you kind of open up your chest and you see all the opportunities in the world, right?
Yeah.
You're afraid when you feel someone's done you wrong. So, something's happened, you've become a victim. People literally crunch over and they only can look down and they can only see the bad thing in front of them. They don't even see everything else that's happening.
That is so true. You can even see, where are you putting your eyes? Right. Are you looking up? Are you moving up? Is your breath opening? So, and the thing is, what I'd like to point out with you here is that these states happen to all of us no matter how far we are along.
Right.
So it's like moments is like, okay, why am I contracting? What happened?
Right.
How can I open? And diving in, noticing it and feeling it is the first step to even become aware. Yeah.
Yeah. Awareness is you can't fix something if you are not even noticing that you're doing it.
Right. So once you become aware of it, you can just breathe into it and say, honey, so sweet that you showed your face. Right. Now we can talk,
Right. And when things have surfaced, when they've bubbled up from the subconscious and now they're on the surface, it's so easy to take them out and to heal them. Some things require assistance, like, seeing someone that can talk you through stuff and maybe getting help. Like I definitely got help about the rape. Okay.
Right.
I saw a lot of people and I did a lot of work, but there's certain things are just thoughts or beliefs or fears that if we just notice and we breathe, sometimes if we do meditations and we let them go, there's ways that we can just release them and they really are gone.
Right. And one of our speakers here will be talking about a very specific technique that I've been teaching myself for 25 years. I learned from him, Dr. Vern Wolf, and the power of awareness and just simply noticing, where's my breath, where's my body, where's my energy. even, or if I have a question, should I go and do this meeting? And you go and just check in with all of your energy centers, maybe your throat, maybe your heart, maybe your tummy. Are all of them flowing, or are some of them contracted? And if they're contracted, we just listen to them and say, okay, so what's up? It'll give us amazing insight.
Right.
It's actually a gift. So tell us maybe those 4 key states. I think you believe the 4 C's are the 4 states that we need.
And we talked about those for a minute with calm, clear, confident, and divinely connected.
Yeah. So
those
3
are the
C's.
states. Yeah. The
calm,
4 C's.
Clear, confident, divinely connected.
Right. I call them the noble C's because if you can stay in that state all the time, I mean, the world is your oyster,
Right. Well, even 50% of the time would be amazing.
Yes.
So let's
right. And the whole idea is when you are in that space, you're aligned, you're balanced, you're confident, you're lined up, and you're aware. So as soon as you get out, you notice.
So can you talk us into it a little bit? I'm feeling, just as I'm talking to you right now, that state, okay, calm.
Right.
Can we just all, listening to you right now, pretend, fake, or be in a moment of calmness? We just go like, how? And my great uncle, he always said, Ilona, just sit down and stream calmness out of you, as if I'm generating calm.
Right.
So then I go like, okay, let me stream calm out,
Right.
But as I did that instantly, try that. Let's try that. Okay, we'll follow you. Can you walk us through it a little bit?
I will do. Yeah, I'm going to do something else. I will do, but for that purpose. Okay. So just for a moment, let's close our eyes. Let's take a little deep breath, and we'll breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth, and just come into center and balance. And focus our attention on our heart. And it's even more, I don't know, I find myself when I want to do that, I almost like I turn my head downward as if I'm trying to look at my heart. And there's something, it makes you kind of shut out the rest of the world and be more inner reflective. And there's a calmness and a centeredness about that. And then you can even move even further down like into your stomach area, where there's more calmness there. There's more centeredness there. And if you're sitting or you're standing, whatever you're doing, if you can feel your feet firmly planted on the ground, and you feel what it's like to be connected to the earth, that is amazingly centering and balancing and connected. And as we then maybe raise our heads again, and as we sort of look up, it's us connecting to higher wisdom, to our own higher self, to the divine, the divinity within us, and also the divinity in all of creation. And so now we're connected to the earth, and we're connected to the higher realms and the higher aspects of us. And you just feel inside your body, do you feel aligned or do you feel out in different places? And wherever you are, feel yourself going back into alignment and balance and center. And just keep breathing. And we're there. And now that you're in that place of calm and center, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. And I like how you said it's okay wherever we are. It's like allow that possibility.
Right.
So then when you take those, the calm, the connected, the centered,
the confident,
and the confident, calm, confident, centered, and divinely connected,
right,
you practice that. So how do you apply that to goal setting?
Well, you want to be in that state first before you even think about what your goals are.
Okay.
Because if you're in any of those 9 things, if you're afraid or you're whatever, you're not going to be clear, and you're not going to be confident that you can receive the goals that you're setting or achieve them.
Right.
And so the first thing we do is we work on being aligned and balanced and centered and calm and collected and all of that. Once we are in that place, we look for clarity. We look for what our heart truly desires. And again, we're being aware of our own body, aware of our own feelings. So when we think of things we might want, we tune into our body. We feel, okay, if I say I want a red Lamborghini, okay, that's something I don't actually want.
Right.
But if somebody really did, they would feel excitement. They would get excited and they would feel almost tingly, and they could feel in their own body, wow, that's a genuine desire that I have.
Right.
But for me, it's like, yeah, I could care less. You know, when I was young, I had the great little sports car, but it's like, that's not what I want now, you know?
Right.
That's
And
not where I am in my life.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with wanting it. I mean, that's the thing too. When you're doing goal setting, it's important to realize that there's no right or wrong. If you truly desire it, it's fine, and just own it. You know, I do a class sometimes in manifesting your beloved. And so I tell people, it's like, if you want a guy that's this tall and has this color hair and he's whatever, just own that. Mm-hmm. Just acknowledge and realize that that's true, and it's okay. Like, don't make it wrong. Just own your desires. That's my first thing, is just own them.
I had read once in a beautiful book called Enlightenment. It was written by MSI, comments on Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And it was a commentary, and I really loved it. The person who was the author said, use your desires as your stepping stones, because each one you fulfill will bring you to the next higher level. You know, a lot of the universe, I mean, the spiritual teachings are split between, there are those that want to manifest, and then there are those that are pure and just focus on their divine self.
Right.
And realistically, we are here on earth to live in heaven on earth, connected with God, and becoming the angelic agent ourselves, so that what comes out of us is pure, beautiful, and a contribution to others. So that leads me to the final question. How do you feel, and how is your work, how did your journey take you to become a contribution to the planet, versus where you might have been before? As we said in the introduction, you were an engineer, and you were a manager, had 40 people that were replying to you, under you, in a pharmaceutical company, and then you had the turnaround. The dolphins guided you to ascend to a different state of understanding life, and then you started becoming a teacher. Not only after you worked on yourself, and then you started teaching. Can you tell me about first when you create your goals yourself, making a better life for yourself, and then how do you contribute to the world around you?
Right. Well, I mean, as the story unfolds, what I had happen is that because I started healing and I started finding true joy, my heart began to just sing to help others do the same. I mean, it was very simple, you know. So my desire, my greatest desire, my greatest fulfillment is helping others and helping them come into wholeness, come into health. I mean, the thing I tell my kid all the time, he's 18, but what I've told him since he was a little kid, I said, I want 3 things for you. I want you to be healthy, I want you to be happy, and I want you to be successful as you define success. That's what I want for everyone. Right?
I believe those are the 3 things for American that we stand on, the independence, right? It's liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit of happiness. But it's like, I want everyone to find their joy. Yeah. I want everyone to heal their painful past so that they can step into their true magnificence and align with the divine and flow with the universe, instead of like banging their head on the wall all the time.
Yeah. Becoming
struggling, you know. It's like, so I was no longer happy with just doing things that didn't have a bigger impact and didn't help people or didn't help cetaceans or didn't help something, right? And so that's what my heart began to sing for, was to make a contribution.
That's right. So after your healing, the first thing, or as part of it, but towards the latter part of your healing, you went and created a whale and dolphin sanctuary.
Well, what we were trying to do was actually return Lolita, which is, yeah, Lolita changed my life. Lolita's in Sea Aquarium, Miami, and her family's in the San Juans, right?
Okay.
When I lived there, I was communing with her family, but it was her story that changed my life. I heard about her, and that's why I moved to the San Juans. I had to be with her family. And then, but what I started realizing is that I believe that dolphin consciousness and dolphins and orcas and you know, the whole cetacean nation really, they're like, it's almost like we're on a similar path. Like dolphins and humans are interchangeable. And I have memories, or I don't know, alternate reality or past life or whatever you want to call it. I know I've been a dolphin, and I know that I can walk into one now, even in meditation. So I believe that freedom for humanity from their own limitations, those 9 things that I talked about, is intrinsically linked with freedom for cetaceans.
Beautiful.
And I've felt that way for 20 years now. And it's like their freedom is our freedom. And as we free ourselves, but also other beings, you know, the ones we've stuck
humanity,
the ones we, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
As we free these beings, we're freeing ourselves.
Yes.
And as long as we have them in cages, we're also caged. You can't have freedom with it because we're all connected. It's all connected.
Exactly. Right. And yet, and what I find, it becomes an individual journey, and then it becomes a global journey. Right. We individually free ourselves. We help each other free ourselves. Right. And all of us who are more liberated, let's say, I mean, there's always more stages to go.
Right.
Want to help other beings that we can respect and honor to be equally free. So it becomes a win-win deal, and we start being an outward flow of this positive energy. Right. And so the moment you start diving in, you ripple out.
Yes. Yes.
It's like drop the pebble in the water. We drop the pebble into our inner psyche, into our soul, into our heart. And as that comes to light, it starts rippling out into the world.
Right. So you asked me, how do I set goals?
Yes.
I know that my goal, my biggest dream, is to make the biggest impact in the world I can, to help as many people free themselves, find joy, find fulfillment, find wholeness, right?
Yes.
But I look at, where are my gifts? Where are my talents? Where are my skills?
Okay.
Where do I get the greatest joy?
Yeah.
And that's the avenue I want to use. So for me, that's writing, or that's speaking. For someone else, it might be something completely different.
Might be gardening, might be being silent, might be sitting still under a tree and dreaming. And somebody who walks by catches that dream, or somebody sensitive enough hears it and writes it into a magnificent book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is beautiful. We all have our gifts.
Yes.
And the gifts and talents, that's how we can then express our greater purpose.
It is.
Our sense of being tied into the source gives us that feeling connected to a greater whole, which then imbues us with electricity to express our talents.
It's exactly what I say. What you said about the electricity. What I notice is that people, especially in like artists or musicians or writers like myself, if we're not expressing the gift, it's like we're drying up. There's no chi, there's no life force, and there's no energy. It's like there's something huge missing, and you become despondent almost. It's like if you are given that gift, if you were born with that gift, you must express it. And that is how divinity comes through you and expresses. Right. So it's fundamental to be expressing the gift or talent that you have.
Right. And the first step we do, and I do it daily, is, and that's where I feel like the new world of meditation is no longer the asceticism of the East, the Far East, where it's like, no. And I can't really say that that's all I did, but that's the image we have, renunciating all things and only focusing on one thing, and that is non-corporal beingness. No. I think the new wave is to understand that negative emotions are our stepping stones. We purify them, and it automatically lifts us into creating greater goals, expressing more light, and then it takes us, and our intention fundamentally needs to be hooked onto the very source of creation.
Absolutely.
And when we are hooked into God or focused on it, then everything starts flowing through us. And I am so grateful that you have that vision and are an inspiration and take your time to stay here with us on the summit and have people listen and take notes and say, okay, so what do I need to do? Is there one thing that you can say that you do every day that really makes a difference, that you would say, do this every single day?
Meditation is the thing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Meditation is the thing. I do a lot of things every day. I do yoga every single day. I do meditation.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool. So it's the body and the mind and the emotions. So we're addressing those three items. Eat well, exercise, and focus your mind on the higher, deeper parts of you. Awesome. Yes. I hope that wherever you are, you're listening, that you get inspired to keep going wherever you already are, whether you haven't even started and find yourself, like Takara did, in a job you don't like, or in a position where it's hurting, or where you might say yes when you should be saying no, or whether you already are breathing deeply and doing yoga, you expand your capacity to the next step, join the club in helping more, write a book, do your teaching, open your heart, open your mouth, whatever you want, build a sanctuary for children or animals or whatever you wish.
Right.
And join us. I'm so glad that you are offering your free gift to all of us here. Thank you. And I now want to also mention your website is magnificentyou.com. There you can find out more information about the coachings you do, the classes you offer. How do you spell that?
It's magnificent followed by the letter U.com. So it's magnificentyou.com, but it's with the letter U.com.
Okay. Now you have a couple of items that you do sell and you are offering as a very special price for us here. So thank you very much. I'm so happy. I'm grateful I could talk you down. I'm sorry. But we do want to reach a lot of people, and money is a concern for people. Thank you. So tell us about the two programs that you're offering.
Okay. So one of the programs is called Dowsing for Divine Direction. So dowsing is one of the things that it's the fastest way I know to fine tune and enhance your intuition. I mean, absolutely the fastest way that I'm aware of. And so I've been dowsing for years.
So what is dowsing? Give us a real quick definition for anybody who may not know.
So for people who don't know, it's actually, I don't know if you could see it with how close I'm. This is a pendulum, okay? And dowsing is simply asking questions and it will move in a particular way to give an answer. And there's ways to interpret what those questions, how to word questions and how to interpret the answers. And I have created a way, I've got a way to program a pendulum so that this pendulum is not just to answer yes and no, but now it's a healing device. Okay. So what I program in when I have people take the course is that they're given these words and we say, when I hold this device, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Positive.
Programming, like you program your computer.
Yes.
Programming our dowsing system. And I teach people how to ask questions that make sense, how to, when they should or when they should not douse. But that's another thing I do every single day is I'm dowsing on something. Should I participate in this summit? That's a question I can ask the dowser. If I want to take vitamin C pills, which one is the best for me? Not which one's the best for me, and so that I can get the most out.
Or for my, eyesight or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So,
so dowsing. Let me just verify it because, some people go, oh yeah, right. Pendulum work. I've heard that. That's not for me. I want to tell you one thing. The state of California hired engineers to find water. This is now 1991. A neighbor of us here on this island down the street was hired after the engineers could not find any water and had spent tens and thousands of dollars. Actually, it was a huge sum. I think it was in the hundreds. Couldn't find water for nothing. They hired a guy who dowsed. So how he did it, he took a map and he did go over the X and the Y axis and said, okay, I want a well with at least, I'm not
how many gallons per
minute. All right. So then he's like X and Y axis and Z, X and Y axis in the intersection. He went, okay, so he then got a topographical map. He dowsed more closely. Which spot is it? Eventually he would drive onto land. And, in the old days, my grandfather told me about
with the sticks. Yeah.
They had a fork and they would go over ground. And then where there was a water well strong enough to support digging a well, because you don't want to be digging up everywhere with your shovel in those old days, wood would respond and would pull down. So this man was hired by the state of California to find wells, and one after another he found, and he found water where they couldn't.
Right. There are police districts, I mean, whatever they're called. They hire dowsers to help find missing people.
Yes.
They were used in Vietnam to help find food and some other things when some bridges got blown up. I mean, the government's been doing it. Big oil companies do it sometimes still to find water.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's
oil. Yeah. Exactly. So becoming efficient at discovering what you need and what's good for you. When you don't know, it's like, was this a yes or a no in my tummy? You go like, okay, let's make the pendulum say this loud and clear.
Absolutely.
I mean, we teach dowsing, we teach work in radionics. I've been doing that since '87, and I mean, our life is so parallel. I'm like going, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, and so I find that dealing with negative emotions, connecting to the source, learning dowsing skills, you know, and then you have this other, okay, so that's number one, Dowsing for Divine Direction e-course, which you're charging.
Normally it's $144.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be
special on this special page. We have a button for you to get to your sales page. So if people are interested in your details, they click on the sales button and then they'll get the price, and the special price here will be $97.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a huge discount. Thank you. And how long is that course, or how much effort is it?
Well, it's 7 videos and then a bunch of extra videos.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't
What
really
does it take usually? A month or so?
Oh, no. You could plow through it much faster than a month.
But I mean, how long do people usually take to learn the skill? So do they feel rudimentarily capable?
Oh, you could be rudimentarily capable in like 2 videos. So, yeah, I mean, you could be hitting the ground running with yes and no, you know, within an hour. Like really.
Okay. Yeah. And then to feel confident?
To feel confident, you need to practice. And that's going to take you a couple of weeks of practicing.
Okay.
You know,
cool.
But people are amazed at how responsive the pendulums are, and how I mean, you know, I taught a class live recently, and their eyes get so big when it actually moves for them. They're so surprised.
Right. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that is awesome. And then they can get in touch with you and learn more or get whatever. Now tell me about the second part. I know that you're coming out with this Divine Dolphin Essence teaching meditation course and oils and essences. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. So this is called the Dancing Dolphin Way of Healing and Enlightenment. Okay. And so years ago, I was inspired to go to the same place that Stuart Wilde wrote his Taos Quintet up in Taos, New Mexico. I was guided to go to the exact same place, guided meaning I was inspired. I felt a nudge that I knew I needed to go there. And I sat down and I stayed in a light trance sitting beside a stream for 3 days. And I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And all these healing meditational technologies came through. I wrote them down. All day I was writing these little exercises. And in the evening, I was doing them. I was like, okay, I'm saying these words out loud. I'm healing all this stuff. And I published this work a while ago. But people were having remarkable shifts and transformation with it. But I knew that they would have so much more breakthrough and like radical shift in consciousness and healing of emotion and the past and all of that if other components could be put together with this teaching. And so I recorded the audios, and behind the audios of me speaking and saying, see this and imagine that and see the dolphins swimming around you, all of it is dolphin healing technology. Behind it, I have theta brainwave music that has whale sounds playing in the background too. So there's oceans, waves, and there's music. And so it slows your brainwaves down so that you don't have stray thought. And in theta, it's a very powerful place and way to get to the root cause of things and also to really transform on a deep level. So I felt the audios were very, very important.
So theta brainwave states are the ones that are happening just before we go to sleep. So it's
just
a pretty
before sleep.
Deep state.
Yeah, it's very deep, and you're disconnected from your emotions in that state. It's a very powerful state.
So
And
you have audio tones that are underlaid dolphin sounds or whale sounds that assist people going into theta brainwave states.
exactly.
So it's not this long, arduous training, but there's something to carry me, and then I kind of learn by doing.
You don't have to work to slow down your brain waves to be in a very receptive, wonderful place.
Perfect.
For you. Okay.
Awesome.
So you don't have to have meditated 20 years like some of us have, right? You just let the music take you to this very deep place. It's really powerful. And the other part of that, is the whole piece. I create these oils that are, every single one of them is infused with dolphin healing energy. These are the little bottles. This is like a little bottle of one of the oils. And when you rub it on, you're enveloped in that same dolphin healing frequency that I was enveloped in when the dolphins first started showing up to me in meditation. And so by working with the oils, it shifts your vibration. It makes you much more receptive to healing and transformation. So with the combination of the teaching and the audios and the oils, it's just a body, mind, soul experience that is so much more profound than just reading the text.
Right. And because next time you use that smell, your brain automatically kicks you into that brainwave state that you've already practiced last time.
Right.
So you build in your successes upon each other and reinforce the anchors. Oh, that's awesome.
Now, the problem is, because I'm still recording, when we're recording this, I don't yet know the price, but I promise you, it will be a great discount like the other one was.
Okay, cool. But we will be able to find that on the sales page when people click on it and they've already gotten the free gift from you, and then we can see which one speaks to us most, or both, or all. And I think it's a great journey to embark on. You know, the steps are so similar to the ones I've taken in my life. I feel so encouraged to tell people to say, please take the time. If you have already done this, tell somebody else about it. You know, it's sometimes the way we pay it forward is by letting other people know about something. Like, let's say they listen to the summit and they go like, oh, I feel intrigued. It's the easiest introduction to a new subject. You know, let's say our neighbor says suddenly, well, you know, I have been. Oh, 20 years later, my best girlfriend says, now I'm starting to do the things you talked to me about when we were children. Right. So, you know, whenever, help the wave of energy transformation on our planet grow. We are here to wake up as many beings as want to. Suffering is an alternative choice we don't need to take. Right. It's a good taskmaster. You know, it hurts. Okay, I'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
And we can enter the voluntary choice of connecting up and reaching up to heavens and asking for help. The universe is listening, just like the title of my book, Dream Big, the universe is listening. So thank you, Takara, so much for being there and being a lighthouse. You know what? I really wanted to hear your one miracle story, and I want to finish with that one. Can you tell us?
I can tell you a miracle story. Yep. So one of the things that I talk about is getting in tune with this intuition and listening to your body and paying attention to the most subtle thoughts, okay? Because miracles happen when the subtle thoughts happen. And what a lot of people, they're so busy doing their life, they don't pay attention to the little thought that says, I should call Susie, or I should stop everything and show up at the post office for some reason. But it's those actions when your intuition speaks. Like if we've set goals, if we have these dream big goals and we are intending to do them, the next piece is you have to take action. Okay. Yes. So in this story, what happened is I had this little subtle thought, and this is about the San Juan Islands. Okay. I'm living here in Virginia, and I had this subtle thought about a guy that had a gallery on San Juan Island. I can't even remember his name at the moment, but he used to take photos, fabulous pictures of the orcas. And thoughts of him crossed my mind. And I thought, wow, I wonder if he became more famous. I wonder if more people, maybe on the mainland, know about his work. And so I did a Google search and I typed his name in just to see who and where he was now. And it turned out that he had a Facebook page. Well, I live on Facebook, you know, I'm checking Facebook throughout the day. I've run groups. I do all kinds of stuff on Facebook. So I found his Facebook page. I asked to be his friend. And then, I just looked at the kind of things he was posting. I went to see, if he still had the gallery on the island, and then I kind of forgot about it. Okay. I'd followed the intuition. It was kind of interesting. It was nostalgic, but I didn't think any more about it. A few days later, I had this other little subtle thought. And the subtle thought was that the island is not that big. Like San Juan Island is not that big. There's not that many people that live there. And I've just become friends with a guy that lives there, and I used to live there. So I bet there's people in his friends list that I know, right? So I go back to Facebook, and I just start scrolling through all his friends. And I didn't recognize most of them. And then I came across this name. And as soon as I saw this guy's name, I broke out into this huge grin. And I was like, Brian, oh my gosh, it was a guy that I knew from the island. And so I asked to be his friend. Okay. Back in the day when I lived on San Juan Island, I was single and he was single and he was the port commissioner. And he also was a yacht broker. He always had all these fancy yachts around. And so he would call me like on a Friday evening and he'd say, how would you like to go out to dinner? And I would say, well, I would love to go out to dinner. And I would skip down to the docks. I would get on some fancy yacht and we would motor over to another island and we'd have dinner. So I got a boat ride as part of these cool dinners, right? So that was Brian. And we spent lots of time together. We never dated or anything, but it was like, we just were great friends and he was fun. He was a lot of fun. So we started a conversation. And it turns out that his big dream, his big lifelong dream, had been to circumnavigate the globe in his own yacht. He was now 60 years old. He worked his whole life to have enough money to have a yacht to do this. And he was right in that moment down in Puerto Vallarta getting the boat ready to start this amazing trip. That's when
when you entered his life.
I contacted him, right?
All right.
I was like, I'm like, this is great. And immediately he's like, jump on a plane, come down here. And I was like, I can't do that, And so, but then he got underway. He went with this whole armada across. They leave Puerto Vallarta, and with all these sailboats and these motorized boats, they go in mass across the ocean. It took him 17 days to reach land. They end up somewhere, out in the islands, out in the Pacific. And every time he got to a new island, he would send me a message and say, jump on a plane and come and visit me. And so he's sending me pictures and invitations from Tahiti and Bora Bora and all these really cool places. And finally, then one day he sends me a thing and he says, I know we've been playing around and you didn't think you were going to come, but he said, I really need your help. He said, there's this couple on board that have to fly back to the US for some tax issue. And he said, this is not a boat you can man yourself. It's too big. You can't dock it with just...
I need you.
Right. Now it's a need, right? So he goes, I know. So he goes, you would fly to Fiji and get on board, and you would stay on board for a month, and then you would fly home from Brisbane, Australia. And as soon as I read those words, I got tears in my eyes. I still do. I got tears in my eyes, and I choked up, and I was like, I want to do this. I really, like my heart, my soul wanted me to be in Fiji and Vanuatu and New Caledonia and the places that we were going to go. Wow. I mean, every part of my body was just like, little tingles. And I was like, had tears. And I knew I'm going to do this. But I wrote him back and I said, Brian, I have a kid now. Like I can't be gone for a month. And he writes back and he goes, bring the kid.
Oh my God.
So I jump on, my kid and I flew to, we went to Dulles and we flew then to LA, and then we took an airplane overnight and we landed in Fiji, and we got on $1 million yacht and we lived on there for 6 weeks. And we island hopped and we went to where they did the Blue Lagoon, where they filmed that show, and then where they did Castaways. And it was the most incredible trip I've ever taken in my life.
Oh,
it was resorts, it was this, it was that, it was all these amazing things. And it never would have happened if I had not just thought of a guy and Googled and taken action, right? So when I tell people, you never know the actions to take and where they're going to lead. It's just if you have a subtle thought, you follow the thought.
Right.
So that is my most miraculous.
Oh, so powerful. And all the way along, I'm like going, wow, oh my God, I got tingles when you said Fiji and Caledonia and all that. Whoa, I felt like, and what would we all have done? What would we have done? Would we have cut ourselves loose? Would we have gone on the adventure? All of us listening to you. Would I have done it, you know? And when do you say yes to a miraculous life? And when do you start listening to that little voice that leads you in the direction of a miraculous life?
Right. Well, one of the things that I often say.
How about now?
Right. One of the things I often say, you know, we talked about the 4 noble C's.
Yeah.
There is a 5th one, and it's called courage.
Courage to act.
A magnificent life, to lead an inspired, to lead a dream big life. You have to find the courage to take the actions. What I say is you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You have to dare.
Step outside of yourself. Like
if
you want to live a big life, you have to take actions that you're not comfortable with, that are outside your comfort zone.
Right.
That doesn't mean you do things that are unsafe. That doesn't mean, but if you're really feeling the inspiration, you have to make the phone call. You have to show up. You have to, you know, do whatever you have to do that is not comfortable for your personality, but the results are so amazing.
And trust.
So worth it. Yes. Trust.
And call in that trust. And what I always say, practice with small things. Develop your trust, develop your confidence, develop your connectedness to the divine, and discover which voices within your head lead you in the right direction. You know, we have different parts. We have the fear voice that says, don't do that and don't do that. You know, we have the voice that says, you should, you should. We have another voice that says, come, do this now. And the more we train listening to that divine voice that comes from a different place, usually we can identify that or learn to identify it.
Right.
We can then take action in that direction, and it will lead us in the direction of heaven on earth.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's be the pebble in our own life, make our own lives better, and that of other people. Thank you so much, Takara. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for sharing your own vibrancy and your so approachableness despite all your amazing achievements. I really love that about you.
It's been so fabulous to be here.
Thank you.
I just said blessings to everyone who's watching. Yeah. May you lead this extraordinary, dream big life and gain all that you desire and come into those noble C's and just be magnificent and be in joy.
Amen. Yes, that's our prayer today. Thank you.
Right. Amen. Thank you.
All right. So this will conclude our summit with Takara here today at Dream Big, creating a better life for yourself and the planet. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next segment. Thank you very much for joining us here. Bye-bye.